Method 1. All right, let's do it. So in the AAA method, the first step is acknowledge. Acknowledgement. So my question to you is, have you ever heard of the Serenity Prayer? The Serenity what? The Serenity Prayer. And the Serenity Prayer goes a little something like this, and if you have some higher power other than what I believe, that's fine. No big deal. It starts, Lord, there we go. Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. To accept the things I cannot change. The courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference. So in total it goes, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So in this first step of acknowledgement and acknowledge, it's vital that you accept what you cannot change. Accept what you cannot change. The sun comes up, the sun comes down. The oceans and tides do their thing. The planets out there are revolving around the sun. Your body is made of water and not bleach. There are forces in the world that are governing your life and the lives of others. And those are the things you cannot change. Those are the things that you must accept. Those are the things you must accept. Now, the flip side of it is to have the courage to change the things you can. Now, why have the courage to change the things you can? It's because until you've, like we brought up before with Jung's quote, you have to make the conscious conscious. You have to make the unconscious conscious, And until you do, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. And until you have that courage, that real toughness to take a fearless inventory on your life and to really get at the core of what can you do to make a concerted effort to change things. What can you do to make a difference? So we talked before in the previous section that there are those of us who live a life where when the bad things happen to us, we tend to blame the outside world for it happening to us. And we fail to acknowledge the part that we play in our personal lives, the part we play in making changes on behalf of ourselves and others, and to make changes that will effectively change the world, especially the worlds that we live in. Now, through this first step of acknowledgement, you must decide what it is that you can change. You must figure out what it is that you're doing to get the results that you're living. So we call this the difference between the internal versus external locus of control. Now, the external locus of control is what we're looking to put to rest today, is what we're looking to help you make the decision and acknowledge that this can no longer be the way that you perceive your own life. So the external locus of control says, life happens to me, I respond to it, and what I do does not change myself and the world. In fact, the world is completely random. The world is not governed by patterns that synchronize, and instead, no matter what I do, nothing is going to get better or change. It's this external locus, meaning the focal point of control is outside of you. You don't see it as being within you, as being a part of you. So in order to overcome the failures we talked about before, in order to stop delaying change and stop letting fate control your life, you must acknowledge that there is a spark inside of you that allows you to make changes. That there is a spark of courage inside of you that allows you to take the bull by the horns, grab the horse of your mind and your life, and start, instead of letting that horse run whithersoever it will with you, you will grab the reins and you will decide to ride the horse, ride and tame the horse of your own life. So you acknowledge that there is a force inside of you capable of making changes. You know, your heart beats and you breathe rhythmically without control. There's a part of your brain doing it for you, and you don't have to do anything. It can literally keep going from the day you're born to the day you die. And unless, some, crazy accident happens, that's what will happen. You will just continually breathe and you will continually beat your heart. But the thing is, you can influence that. You can have an external locus of control such that you're living off the standard American diet and it's just the way everyone eats around you, and you don't bother to think about changing your diet. You don't bother to think about how your diet is impacting you. No, it's, I grow up in this world, I live in this culture where everyone's eating a lot of fast food where I live, and everyone wants their meal now, and the things that are in abundance are sugars and fats, and I could eat my cheeseburger on a bun and have some french fries and drink a Coca-Cola. And meanwhile, what's happening is the internal world that you have, this heart and arteries and lungs, those arteries are starting to get clogged with all the internal crap that's being mixed together. By mixing those carbohydrates and fats, we're tending to create an internal world, especially if you're living a sedentary life. So not only do you have the standard American diet, the sad diet, you're living a sad life where you're not taking control and you're just deciding to live a sedentary life and not be active. So again, if you're part of the Hue Club, I don't know what you look like or what your life is like on the inside and everything, but you're here because you have taken a concerted effort to make differences and make changes in your life and the lives of others. You're part of a movement to heal, uplift, and empower yourself. So it's time to move from the external locus of control to the internal locus of control. It's time to stop letting fate govern the circumstances of your life. It's time to stop letting whatever happens out there govern what you're going to do. Yes, there are going to be external circumstances and influences in your life, and it's important that you have the courage to start choosing what those influences are going to be. You start choosing what's going to start happening to yourself on the inside, because the minute that you decide to take control, the minute that you decide that this is your life and that you can remove the control from the outside and bring it in, that's the moment that the true healing, the true uplifting, and the true empowerment comes. Because you can go for a run. You can start eating differently. You can start living differently. And by virtue of the choices that you make consistently on a day-to-day basis, you transform your life. And it goes from being a clogged artery human being living a sad life, living on a sad diet, to an empowered life, where the choices that you've made have made you healthier. The choices that you make everyone around you healthier. So as we transition into this idea of the internal locus of control, we'll get into method 2 in just a moment. I'll see you in the next video.